I will give you a walkthrough and tutorial on how I do EQ matching in FabFilter Pro Q3, but to answer the overarching question, the plugin does all of the work. The plugin does the EQ matching. I do not manually do it. I am not that good. The way I do it is how I am doing it right now. I record into two microphones simultaneously. One I like the sound of, another which I think sounds bad, and I am going to use the good sounding microphone to try to train the bad sounding microphone to sound better. Now that I have enough rambling and talking to train the plugins, let's go to a screen capture and I will walk you through it. Alright, the first thing that I did was drop both recordings into my DAW. I lined them up as best as I can, and now I have two tracks. I have Lav Mic and LDC, or Large Diaphragm Condenser. Let's go ahead and hear both of those. Testing, testing, testing. These are the two microphones that I am trying to train. Can I make this Lav Mic sound more like the TLM49? Because the TLM49 sounds so much better than a... The Lav sounds terrible, as suspected. So on both tracks, I have a loudness meter, and on the Lav Mic track, I have a gain plugin as well. So I'm going to measure the loudness of both of them and make sure they're level matched before I do anything else. So let's go ahead and measure that and adjust the gain to account for the difference in level. Testing, testing, testing. These are the two microphones that I am trying to train. Okay, so the Lav is minus 30 LUFS, while the LDC is minus 23.8, so I need to add 6.2 more dB of gain, I think, so plus 15.2. Let's go ahead and reset the loudness meters and verify again. Sounds so much better than a Lav Mic clipped to my collar. Hopefully it helps. Okay, I would say that's close enough. There's a bit of a discrepancy between them throughout, but overall, that's as good as it's gonna get. Now we can close all of these plugins, and we are going to add FabFilter Pro Q3 to both tracks, so let's go ahead and do that now. Once we've done that, at the bottom of each plugin, we see this area that says Analyzer, Pre plus Post plus SC. If we hover over that, it gives us a few more options, and one of those options is EQ Match. So I am going to click on that EQ Match button on both plugins, and then I will play back the sample. Testing, testing, testing. These are the two microphones that I am trying to train. So while that was playing, you could see the EQ plugin actually learning the frequency response of that microphone. So once I have that done, I am going to click on this reference dropdown and scroll down to the bottom and say Save Input as a Reference Spectrum on the Large Diaphragm Condenser. So let's do that. I will name this 2024-04-25 TLM49. I'm going to do the same thing on the Lav just for future reference sake if I ever need it. Once I've done that, I'm going to click on the reference dropdown and scroll down to 2024-08-25 TLM49. Select that. And this shows me the corrective EQ that's necessary to get the microphone to match. This is just absolutely insane. We are doing, I don't know, about 100 different bands. If we go next, we can choose how many bands we actually want, up to 24. Let's hear what it sounds like using all the bands and turn the plugin off and on. Testing, testing, testing. These are the two microphones that I am trying to train. Can I make this Lav Mic sound more like the TLM49? Because the TLM49 sounds so much better than a Lav Mic clipped to my collar. Hopefully it helps. Testing, testing, testing. Frankly, that's crazy. It sounds so much better, but 24 bands, I don't know. I just on principle, I can't do that. I like sticking around 6. Let's hear the difference there. Testing, testing, testing. These are the two microphones that I am trying to train. Can I make this lav mic sound more like the TLM49 because the TLM49 sounds so much better than a lav mic clipped to my collar? Hopefully it helps. Even with 6 bands, it's absolutely insane what a big improvement it is. Once we decide how many bands we want, we'll just leave it at 24. Heck it, why not? Once we hit finish, it locks in that EQ. And if you're not watching this, the EQ, it's one of the most insane things I have ever seen. It sounds better, but this is nothing that anybody would ever create. It is clear this was a computer that generated this. It's just funny, but it sounds incredible compared to the raw. Testing, testing. These are the two microphones that I am raw. Testing, testing, testing. These are the two microphones that I am with the plugin. Testing, testing, testing. These are the two microphones that I am trying to train. Can I make this lav mic sound more like the... That concludes the demo on how to EQ match using Pro Q3. There are free alternatives that are built into some DAWs. I know that Logic Pro has something called EQ Match. I haven't used that, so I don't know how effective it is. I also want to point out the way that I am EQ matching is far from perfect, especially because I am EQ matching two different kind of microphones in two very different positions. That is not a good way to EQ match. If you wanted to really easily EQ match, set up a large diaphragm condenser in front of a coaxial speaker, play a sine sweep, set up another large diaphragm, small diaphragm condenser, play the same sine sweep, EQ match. That will actually give you a proper result. It will show you the delta between the two frequency responses. The way that I am doing it, it would be very difficult to use that method for a lav and an LDC because the lavalier is in such a different place than a large diaphragm condenser in front of my mouth. So that is why I am using this imperfect method. But if you have two microphones and you just want to mimic one, throw them in front of a coax speaker, which has the woofer and the tweeter in line, and do that sine sweep. And you should be able to get a fairly accurate, maybe not fair, a similar sound out of the microphone. So that is how I would do it if I was actually trying to EQ match. Wanted to point that out, but to my ears, that was crazy. It made the lav mic sound so much better. One huge downside to what I am doing, you need to have both microphones. So if you're trying to, I want my SM7B to sound like a TLM49, and you don't have both mics, that's going to be a bit more difficult unless somebody has done that kind of the sine sweep from 20 to 20 to give you that graph on what to apply to your 7B to sound like the TLM49. Is that what would be called what is it called? Impulse response? Would that be an impulse response for a microphone? I don't know. But there you go. That is the conclusion of that.